Good morning, Jubilee. Woo! It's good to be back with you. So I want to welcome everyone who is here in the room with us and everyone who is out online with us. I'm Laura Collins. The last time I was here was almost exactly 9 months ago. Has anything gestated in the meantime? It's such a pleasure to be back with Paula and the World Beat Band. Big thanks to these musicians. I know that this is Jay's first Sunday back in a while, so where'd Jay go? Yep, there you are. Welcome back to Jay and blessings. Yesterday was Yona's birthday. And today is another birthday, Daniel's birthday, and Daniel's back. Oh, and it's also Laura's birthday. Oh my gosh. Birthdays. Oh, birthdays? Oh my gosh. What's with August in this group? A bunch of Leos? Are you guys all Leos? Is that what it is? Anyway.
It was Friday.
It's okay. So, we are still in the Via Positiva. This is that season of fullness, of delight and wonder, of gratitude, of joy. This past week, I saw the film Mission Joy, which documents the interviews between Archbishop Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama, which led to the book called The Book of Joy. Some of you may have read that. I've referenced it when I've spoken here before. They are two men who know wonder and delight, who exude gratitude and joy as much as any two other human beings I can think of. And the film reminded me that their laughter and their lightheartedness is not because their lives have been easy. On the contrary, their joy emerges from lives of great distress, of war and violence, of hatred and exile. They choose joy, not in spite of their distress, but in the midst of it. Out of the reality of apartheid, out of the reality of Tibetan exile, out of these difficult realities, they nonetheless choose gratitude. So wherever you are personally in this season of the Via Positiva, wherever our community is, wherever our world is, whether it feels like the dying of the negativa or the sinking underground into the quiet of the creativa or the disorientation of the transformativa, we can nonetheless choose the joy and gratitude that mark the positiva. And there's a sort of persevering that is required to keep making that choice. And that's the perseverance that we are celebrating today. So let's persevere in singing in the divine together.
Come on, everybody. Let's stand. Let's sing. Here we go. In the middle of it, I've been walking in the middle of it. In the middle of it, I've been walking in the middle. Here we go. In the middle of the night, I've been walking in my sleep. From the mountains of faith to the rivers of peace, I must be looking for something.
And good morning, Jubilee. It sure is gratifying to have another circular motion around the sun in this season. Thank you so very much, and happy birthday to each and every one of you. And we'll get around to that. But every day is a rebirth day, I think. Every time that we choose, when we wake up and take that first conscious breath in the morning, we choose to be reborn on this day. We persevere to live. We endeavor to persevere is one of my favorite lines from a movie called The Outlaw Josie Wells, whenever they talked about how they had assimilated the native people and we had walked through fire and the sacredness of what we kept. And even in the midst of the sorrow we were experiencing, we found joy and gratitude in each and every breath and being reborn with each and every breath. So in that way, if you will, please, let's face to the east. Oh, spirits of the east, it's with deep gratitude, love, respect, and honor we stand before you. We're so honored to be in your presence. All these things sometimes that we don't know to say, know that silence speaks the depths of our hearts, our souls, and our spirit. Know that we stare in awe and wonder at the beauty that's revealed to us by the light that you bring us. Thank you, all the ancestors, for adding your light. And thank you for the journey that you've made to be here with us. We're honored to be amongst you in a good way, I hope. Face to the south, please. The whole spirits of the south, to all the beings of the water nations, we thank you. Thank you, cloud people and thunder beings, rain people, for coming. Thank you for nurturing the seed of life and growth. Thank you for the beauty and the greenery that surrounds us. Know that the gratitude that is given of all the green life and all the plants and everything that grows upon this earth, know that we are amongst them to give our gratitude and our honor and our respect for all that you bring to us. We love you and we honor you in a good way, I hope. Face to the west, please. Oh, ancestors of the West, to all of those that have gone before, we thank you for the life that you led so that we might be here in this moment. We thank you for choosing rebirth each and every day so that we might learn how to walk on that path, the path of gratitude, even in the face of fire, in the face of growing pains, the evolution of life, which is eventual. Help us to find that path that brings gratitude to each and every breath that we take, to keep alive the vision and the dreams for the next generations to come, just like you did for us. Help us to walk in your footsteps and beyond, in a good way, I hope. Face to the north, please. Oh, spirits of the north, thank you. Thank you for the wind and the air that we breathe. Thank you for offering this opportunity with each breath to choose life, to choose togetherness and oneness, to stand in the truth of our fires, to stand strong, to let the fires temper us so that we might find clarity in the heat and in the midst of life. Thank you. Thank you for feeding the fire. Thank you for feeding the fire that lives inside each and every one of us. And thank you for each and every breath that we take to make sure that that ember stays alive. Thank you, One Nation, for all that you do for us in a good way, I hope. Face to center, please. Oh, ancestors of the universe, we thank you. We thank you for all those years that took you to journey to us, to shine upon us. Thank you for the ancient wisdom that's contained in your light and your vibration. Thank you for warming our heart and our seed with your stories in your wisdom. Know that we honor you and that we love you. And you're so, so much in bad. In a good way.
All right, everybody, ready to sing? We don't make it easy for you. Put those lyrics up. Here we go. I could stop dreaming, running, never as long as you're gone, we may as well pretend I've been dreaming. Remember this one? Straight from the heart. You said it's easy, but who's to say that we'd be able to keep it this way? But it's easier coming straight from the heart. Oh, give it to me straight from the heart. Tell me we can make another start. You know I'll never go as long as I know it's coming straight from the heart. Oh, it's coming straight from the heart. Tell me we can make one more start. You know I'll never go as long as I know it's coming straight from the heart.
Thank you all. We were feeding the hungry just now, in case you're wondering why all that money was appearing in those baskets. Oh, now's the time for Jubilee in action. Yeah, have a seat. We've got a lot going on. The Bring Your Own Talent projects are going, and we're raising money for Jubilee, and got a few things going on, like, let's see here. Kirtan concert on September 11th at 7 p.m. On September 13th, Paula and Peggy will be doing their Love
Me
is
and
a
my
Rose.
buddy, we're doing a one-step show, the one we take on the road, everybody. So we hope you all come and help us raise money.
Yeah. Oh, and August 22nd, this coming, what is that? Is that Monday? Tuesday? Tomorrow. Oh, and we have Nancy Hayes here to tell us about it.
Hi. I can dance in front of people. I'm not so sure about talking in front of people. Okay, I'm going to teach a belly dance class for Jubilee, and we're going to have 4 classes. It's going to start tomorrow, Monday evening at 7 o'clock. It'll be an hour, and we'll be right here in this room, and it's $10 at the door. Wear something comfortable. Everybody's welcome. Don't hesitate. Come on and try it. If you've ever wanted to move your body a different way, come on and join me, and we're going to have a good time. And I guess that's it for Monday.
I'll be there. I've always wanted to take belly dancing. I mean, how many people have always wanted to take belly dancing? Okay, we will see you tomorrow night. Okay, some other things going on. Diane DeWitt, are you here? Do you want to announce about the book club? Okay. While she's coming up here, I want to announce about Yona's final free storytelling event on Deep Time Network is going to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. Yona?
DeepTimeNetwork.org. DTNetwork.org.
DTNetwork.org. Yeah. You know, everything is on the website too. Let me see if that's up here. There we go. Okay, so everything is on the jubileecommunity.org website. You can even scan that QR code and it'll take you right to the events. So Diane?
Hi, I'm Diane, and I'm kind of organizing the book group again. Okay. So the Monday after Labor Day, which I think is September 12th, obviously I have no notes. I was not prepared for this one. Okay. September 12th, 4 o'clock, hospitality room. We're going to start reading Joanna Macy's Active Hope, the revised edition that's just come out this year. So, hope you can join us. And if you're going to join us, would you read the introduction in chapter 1?
Okay. As far as Bring Your Own Talent, there are CPR certification classes going on, poetry lessons, Reiki treatments, piano and drumming workshops, and so much more. So please go to the website and sign up. All the proceeds, or at least a percentage of the proceeds, will be going back to Jubilee. Bruce Mulkey, where are you? Okay. Bruce Mulkey is our administrator, and he wants to give you an update on the building.
Good morning, Jubilants. This morning, I want to give you an update on the progress of the sale of our building. Realizing the need to move expeditiously, we signed a listing agreement with Beverly Hanks on Monday. Based on comparable sales in this area of downtown Asheville, our entire building has been listed at $5.9 million. The downstairs by itself is listed at $2.7 million. Given that we bought the building for $550,000 in 2005, I'd say we made a pretty good investment. Real estate agents have already been seeking buyers, and the listing will go live in approximately 2 weeks once the building marketing materials have been put together. The entire process could take 6 months. It could take longer than that. So there's going to be no need to hustle out of here anytime real soon. And we have been looking at alternative sites, a private school and a couple of churches. If you have any questions about any of this, just round me up after the celebration, and I'd be glad to talk with you about it. Thanks.
Okay, now we're going to hear from Michael Smith with a board update.
Well, who would have thought we would have ever applauded somebody announcing selling our building, for one, but okay. Last week, our jubilants who were present approved 2 new board members. Louise Slater, Louise, please stand. And Wiley Garrett, Wiley, stand up. And they jumped right into the blessing of attending the board meeting last Monday night. So thank you. And those of you who were here last Sunday also were aware that we said farewell and a huge thank you to board members who are finishing their terms. Jenny Farthing was not here last Sunday, but is right now. Stand up, Jenny. Thank you. We thank you and bless you for that service through a really challenging passage for Jubilee. Tim Moran, Wiley Garrett, and I have agreed to serve as the co-leaders of the board for several months. We are painfully aware that that means 3 white guys, 2 of whom are old white guys, are leading the board, which
None of you have orange hair.
yet, which underscores the need for more feminine energy and wisdom on the board. Next month, Phil and Sydney Guida are also going to be leaving to move to Colorado. Phil is currently serving on the board, so all of this means that if you're interested in serving on Jubilee's board, please see Wiley or me, or I don't know if Tim is here today, after the celebration, and we'd love to communicate with you. Well, when Bruce announced that we've signed a contract with Beverly Hanks for selling our building, I don't know about you, but I find it a bit sobering. And it throws us, like it or not, into the full uncertainty about what is next. So if this feels like approaching the end of something precious, it is. We are up to our ears in the place where via positiva meets the via negativa and the dark days of the via creativa. And it's not like a movie that you've seen 6 times and know how it's going to turn out. We just don't know. But we do know that we are not alone. Look around. We are not alone. And we also know that the Spirit that gave birth to Jubilee is guiding us if we are open. That means that, as Richard Rohr included in his meditation this morning, when we shift from the mode of fixing and fully understanding and controlling to trusting, listening, and allowing, then we're opening the door to divine flow instead of blocking it with a no or lots of intense questions. We also know that all shall be well. At our board meeting Monday night, a small group of folks was appointed to plan the rituals and processes that will engage our whole Jubilee community in co-creating these next steps. That small group includes Louise Slater. Raise your hand, Louise, again. Chaz Jansen. Where are you, Chaz? I know you're here. Right back over here. Thank you. And Michelle Smith. Is Michelle here? I didn't see her yet. And I. So this will be the initial group, and we'll likely expand it a little bit. But I want to be clear that this is not the group. This group's task is not to shape our future. This group's task is to shape the processes by which we together will discern and commit to the next steps in our journey together. So we will get there. Wherever there is, we will get there. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Michael. We do have some strong and wise people that are working for the best of Jubilee, and we want to encourage anybody that wants to get involved to please do. Many hands make light work, and we're ready to accept your input. Okay, so that's Jubilee in action. I want to remind you that the seeds for celebration are on the website. And if you take a look at that, you'll see the themes for each Sunday. If you have a gift that's relevant to the theme for any Sunday, please give me a call. We'll get you scheduled. A poem, a song, a dance. We would love to include you. Right now, we've got Amanda Levesque is going to share a gift of song along with Daniel Barber will be accompanying. This is What I Did for Love from a chorus line.
First of all, I just want to say happy birthday to Daniel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daniel and Yona and just about everybody else. Happy birthday to you.
So I don't have a mic, but I just want to say that I may not make it through this song. I'll try.
I'm pretty sure you will. You will. I'm pretty sure you will.
So I just, to those of you all that didn't hear that, I may not make this through this song dry-eyed because I hardly ever make it through playing for Amanda dry-eyed. And in this particular instance, there's just so much more that surrounds all of this. And I was telling her mom just before this that I have always loved playing for you, Amanda, because playing for you feels to me like playing real music. And everything else is kind of trying to. You know? Everything else is kind of trying to play music and trying to replicate it. And my experience of playing with you, Amanda, is that it's real. And so I'm really grateful to get to do this in this space this time.
Thank you. Not a good time for the film. You should. That's for the end. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Kiss today goodbye. The sweetness and the sorrow. Wish me luck the same to you. And I won't forget what I did for love. What I did for love. Look, my eyes are dry. Almost. The gift was ours to borrow. We did what we had to do. And I won't forget what I did for love. What I did for love. Love is never gone as we travel on. Love is what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye. And point me toward tomorrow. We did what we had to do. Won't forget, can't regret what I did for love. What I did for love. What I did for love.
Come here. This is from all of us. Oh, we love you. I think it's fair to say that you came on a good Sunday. Oh, I invite you to grab some bowls or some bells. Grab your heart, because right now it needs it. And let's pray together in the spirit of perseverance. And Birthday Boy will be at the Western Wall to pray with you And if you're online, please enter your prayers in the chat. And always remember that we have a prayer chain facilitated by Aliyah Schick that she's been doing since forever. And those prayers do matter. All prayers matter. All prayers matter. Receive these prayers, Holy One. It's what we do for love. It's what we do for love. For love. Breathe deeply. I invite you to grab a hand. If you're comfortable, or a paw, if you're online, critter. Perseverance takes so many forms. So many forms. We here at Jubilee are experiencing some perseverance of discernment. I had a little experience recently that I can relate to. I was in the dunes of Michigan, on Lake Michigan, and I was taking a little trip, was on a little trail, and the trail had no markers, and I thought I knew where I was going. Yeah, there's no signal to check exactly where I was going. So about 8 or 9 miles later, there's a moment of discernment of my own. The sun was going down. It was a very pretty sunset. Lake Michigan's gorgeous. But as things get dark, you begin to wonder, how do I handle this? How do we handle this moment of discernment and jubilance? Do we panic? What does that get you? Or that, what you just did. Release a little oxytocin into the bloodstream. Kind of clears things out, doesn't it? Well, that's what did the trick. I just laughed. And yeah, my knees did not feel great by the time I got back to the campsite exactly 17 miles later. Around 10 o'clock. But man, that hammock felt good. So jubilance, we will get there. We will get there. Sure, there might be a moment of panic, but let it pass. Persevere. Breathe deeply and give those holy hands a squeeze.
Shout your hands if you know the empty. If love is full, let it be again. Let it be known. Let it be known. There is a mountain out your hand. If your cup empty, if your cup is full, baby, again, let it be known. There is a fountain that was not made by the hands of men.
When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. So in the beginning, Gichimanatu, creator, she was alone in space. She was all that there was. But anything she thought about, she could make real. Her dreams went out into a giant gas that permeated the universe. And it began to clump together because things didn't want to be alone. They gathered around and they formed stars. They formed planets around the stars. And she focused her attention on the sun, which is a very familiar star to us, that brings us light, brings us warmth, comes to the plants. But there weren't plants yet. The earth, it was molten, it was hot, it was moving around, and she had so many dreams that she began to cry and her tears fell onto the earth. And they fell and they'd hit and they'd steam and they'd come back up into clouds and they'd fall again and go back up. And there were so many tears that they became rivers that flowed down into lakes. The lakes overflowed, and at one point, the oceans covered the whole earth. And then they settled back, and mountains began to spread up, and the clumps of earth spread into each other. They'd hit, they'd go and they'd collide like this, and mountains would grow up, and they'd spread apart. And she reached down into the ocean, and all the animals and plants of the ocean, they spread out. She put her hands on top of the land, put the ferns, the trillium. She was putting the giant redwood trees. She was creating the whole world. She started to put some animals, the salamanders, the spiders, the hummingbirds. She put the coyote, the buffalo, the bear, the eagle. She was about to put the two-legged, and she stopped. She put that two-legged animal back in her pocket. She said, before I let these two-leggeds loose on the earth, before we set the two-leggeds loose, I need to hide a part of myself where those two-leggeds that want to help with creation will know to find it. But those two-leggeds that think creation is for them, that want to take advantage of it, they will never know where to look. So she called out to all the animals, and they created a circle like we have right here. And the bear said, oh, Gichimanatu, give me that part, and I will take it, I will put it at the heart of the mountain. They'll never find it there. Gichimanatu, she looked at Bear and said, Bear, the heart of the mountain, it won't be safe. You'll see. They'll have creative ideas, their greed, their curiosity. They'll dig into the heart of the mountain for coal and uranium and little shiny rocks. Bear was shocked. And whales swam up from the bottom of the sea. Gichimanatu, give me that part. Give me that part, and I will take it down, down, down to the bottom of the sea.
Gitchimanitu, she shook her head. She said, whale who had eyes bigger than the rounds on this table. Those eyes, she looked into those eyes and said, whale, the bottom of the sea, it won't be safe. They'll dig these platforms that reach down and pull up the black blood of the earth mother. They'll go down in little things that look like rocks just to see what's there. Their greed, their curiosity, it won't be safe. And the eagle came forward. Cheep! Gitchimanitu, give me that part and I will fly it higher and higher and I will put it on the moon. Now, most of this room was around when that craft landed on the moon. Do you remember what they called it? The eagle has landed. So NASA knew about this story. And Gitchimanitu knew about NASA. There are those that want to help and those that want to take advantage. I'm not making judgments here, but the moon, it won't be safe. And they looked around the circle. Where do I hide this? And everybody was quiet. And then there was this scratching sound at her feet. And she looked down. There was Grandma Mole poking up. Now, Grandma Mole is blind. She poked up, but she could smell bobcat and fox and coyote and lots of things that like to eat moles. I'll just go away. It's a silly idea. Grandma Mole, it's a silly idea. Those are the best. Now, you come here. Yeah, just whisper it in my ear. Yeah, take that part. And, oh, that's a great idea. Put it inside the two-leggeds. Oh. So with the first two-legged child born into the world, Gitchimanitu took a moment to just look at how beautiful she was and took a part of herself and put it right inside their heart. With every child born into the world, Gitchimanitu first has to just admire them. And then she takes a part of herself and puts it in their heart. So in each of you that's born into this world, you've come with new visions, new dreams of what this world can be. And if you're feeling sad and alone and you need to find Creator, you don't need to go to the heart of the mountain, the bottom of the sea, or to the moon. You just need to look into your own heart. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Can we have a rousing welcome of Laura Hanke?
I think we've already had our sermon. I think I can probably just go home. But I already wrote it, so you have to listen. So our first reading today is from the first letter to the Corinthians in the 12th chapter. Now, today's reading comes right after a chapter where Paul is scolding the church for being petty with each other over how to worship. That's chapter 11, all right? And it also comes just before Paul's very famous 13th chapter on love. The one that says, if you have all knowledge, but you don't have love, you're a noisy gong. Now, faith, hope, love, these three abide, but the greatest of these is love. So in the middle of these two chapters, a church getting scolded for being petty, this eloquent talk about love, Paul says this. I'm reading from Eugene Peterson's translation, The Message. Listen now for these ancient holy words. God's various gifts are handed out everywhere, but they all originate in God's Spirit. God's various ministries are carried out everywhere, but they all originate in God's Spirit. God's various expressions of power are in action everywhere, and God is behind it all. Each person is given something to do that shows who God is. Everyone gets in on it, and everyone benefits. All kinds of things are handed out by the Spirit and to all kinds of people. Now, you can easily see how this kind of thing works by looking no further than your own body. Your body has many parts, limbs, organs, cells. But no matter how many parts you can name, you're still one body. If one part hurts, every other part is involved in the hurt and the healing. If one part flourishes, every other part enters into the exuberance. And from the Sufi poet Hafiz, we read, "What do sad people have in common? It seems they have all built a shrine to the past and often go there and do a strange wail and worship. What is the beginning of happiness? It is to stop being so religious like that." This is ancient wisdom and holy word. Thanks be to all that is wise and holy. All creation is wisdom and holy word. All creation sings of wisdom and God. Hallelujah. All right. Is there anybody here today who works in a field where when you see it portrayed on TV or in the movies, you think, that's not actually how it happens? I imagine that any lawyers might feel that way about court scenes on TV, or nurses about the ER scenes. Well, growing up the daughter of a minister and then becoming one myself, I rarely see a minister on screen that doesn't prompt a big eye roll. They are either saccharine sweet, dull as dirt, or deeply troubled. Every now and then you see one that's super inspiring, which is better, but also not that realistic. Knowing a lot of ministers, I know that most of us are just average human beings doing our best to follow our calling, bumbling along with the rest of humanity. Now, I personally have not had a predictable career path. I still can't predict it. And along the way, my ministry has taken different forms. And one of these made me suddenly aware of another field that is almost always portrayed on screen with very little resemblance to reality. That's the field of organ donation. Someone said to me, "You've seen organ donation on TV?" And I said, "You clearly have not watched 17 seasons of Grey's Anatomy, where they managed to get organ donation into about every third or fourth episode." I used to work at Mission on a team of on-call chaplains whose specialty was working in life and death situations where organ donation might become a possibility. Now, the families didn't know this, but if I was your chaplain, it meant your loved one was not likely to survive. Some did, and we rejoiced in that. But most did not. And for them, at some point, the question would be raised to the family about whether they would consider organ donation, or if the patient was a registered donor, the family would be informed and help to understand what the process would be. So let me share a few facts about organ donation in the United States. An average of 22 people a day die while waiting for an organ transplant. About 95% of Americans are in favor of organ donation, but only about 58% are registered donors. And even if you are registered, the likelihood of you being able to donate is very low. Only around 1% of deaths happen in such a way that organ donation is even a possibility. Now, some of the reasons your organs might not be donated could have to do with their condition at the time of your death. But another reason is that organs can't be donated if they aren't oxygenated almost up to the moment of transplant. Okay, so just to put this in graphic terms, what this means is if you're in an accident and you are declared dead at the scene, your organs can't be donated because they've already been losing oxygen. If, however, you're not declared dead and you're taken to the hospital and you're ventilated and then later you die, then your organs are receiving oxygen and might be able to be used. Same with a massive heart attack or a massive stroke or an attempted suicide. Okay, at this point you might be thinking, enough already. I did not come here today for a lesson in traumatic death. Fair enough. But here's the thing. When donation does happen, a tragic situation, while still tragic, also becomes a life-giving, transformative event for the recipients and their families. It doesn't take away the grief for those who've lost someone they love, but it does provide some comfort in knowing that you are saving some other family from grief. What does any of this have to do with perseverance? Right on time. Well, first of all, the organs have to persevere in order to make it into a new body. As I said, if they're not constantly oxygenated, they will not survive to be transplanted. And also, the family of the person who has died has to persevere through that transplant process. And I can tell you, having stood at the bedside with many families while these decisions are being made, I know it can be very confusing. The medical personnel are there and they're delivering this terrible news that your loved one has died. And you're standing by the hospital bed and looking at them and you're seeing their chest go up and down. You're seeing that they have a pulse. You're seeing that their color is good. They don't look dead. The fact that machines are doing the breathing and the beating of the heart can be hard to grasp, and sometimes families misunderstand and think that they are being asked to pull the plug and end the life. But the truth is the life is already gone, and the machines are simply keeping the blood flowing and the organs oxygenated until the transplant can occur. And once a decision has been made to donate, a whole system moves into place. Matches for the organs are found on the donation list. Those people are called and told about the possibility. Their family has to move quickly to get them to the nearest transplant center, which is often a plane ride away. Surgical teams have to be put in place on both ends, removing the organs and then transplanting the organs. And this sometimes involves flying surgeons in from different places. And sometimes the different organs are going into as many as 8 different people, meaning lots of surgical teams need to be assembled. So while everything happens very quickly once that decision is made, it can still take a couple of days to pull everything together. And in the meantime, the body remains connected to the machines, looking as if it's still alive. Now, some families say their goodbyes as soon as this decision is made, but sometimes I would find families wanted to stay with the body until it was taken to surgery. I remember one case in particular of a man whose wife had died of a massive stroke around age 50, and he could not wrap his head around it. He agreed to donation, and then he stayed with her body, holding her hand and talking to her, not leaving her side for 2 days. We tried to get him to go home and sleep, but he would not miss 1 minute that he could still be there. Breathe deeply. Jubilee, I have some questions for you. What if the Jubilee that you know and love has already died, and the hand you are holding is simply the shell of a body you once knew? What if there are no more interventions to be made, no more life-saving exercises to perform? What if what you need to do now is say goodbye? Breathe deeply. And what if, as you choose to say goodbye, you choose to donate the beating heart of this spiritual body so that it can be transplanted into something completely new? The beating heart. The beating heart. That place where we find the hidden God. What is the beating heart of Jubilee? So over the past several years, there have been numerous gatherings and retreats and conversations and consultations about what Jubilee is. And even as we've imagined together the future of Jubilee, we've watched her slow and sometimes precipitous demise. But in those conversations, in those retreats, in those world cafes, I think we have clues to find the beating heart. The beating heart. What if, just what if, we can't save the whole body? The arms, the legs, the eyes, the ears. But we can save the beating heart. What might that be? What makes the heart of this community beat?
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. Your little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye.
Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Listen to our heart. Listen to God's heart. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Go ahead and put your hand on your heart. What makes this heart beat? What is the beating heart of Jubilee saying to you?
And there are voices that want to be heard. So much to mention, but you can't find the words. The scent of magic, the beauty that's found when love was wilder than the land. When it's calling for you, listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. I don't know where you're going. Yeah, I don't know why. Listen to your heart before you tell it goodbye.
Open your eyes and look up at that earth. Look around at this circle. Listen to your heart. Listen for the beat. The hidden beat of God. One more thing you should know about organ transplants. The family of the body left behind doesn't get to choose the new body. They might have strong opinions. They might have deep biases. It doesn't matter. Because there's a higher source that makes those decisions. One that can see more than the family can see. One that can see what is most needed and where and by whom. And that higher body has a bigger vision that the family in grief can't see. And so the family has a choice. They can let the heart die with the body, or they can give over the heart to a bigger vision, a new vision. They can trust in that higher power. They can let all the hopes and dreams go and hand them over. They can let all the fears and hurt go and hand them over. Hand them over. And just as there are 100,000 people right this minute in our country waiting for an organ transplant, there are thousands of ways that our world needs the beating heart of Jubilee. There are hundreds of ways this city needs the beating heart of Jubilee. When you're busy trying to keep one body alive, you can't yet dream of what other places might need that heart. But what if the beating heart of Jubilee longs to be transplanted, but can't until we let go of the hand we're holding? What if a higher source, our higher power, the higher power, knows exactly where this beating heart needs to go and is simply waiting for us to give our permission? What if? What if? What if?
Listen to your heart. Listen to your
kind of forgotten what comes next. Now is when we pass around our baskets and receive the offering of our gifts to God. Jubilee, let's stand up and we'll do what we do. If you know, I realized the last time I was here, we were all wearing masks and we all had these little orange, yellow, how close do you want to get to people, how far away you want to get, and here we all are. So if you feel comfortable holding hands, I guess we can hold hands, we can sing, we can do what you've been doing. Let's sing us out. Yeah, you want to join in?
First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong. I learned how to get along, and so you're back from outer space. I just rushed in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave the key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Come on now, girl, I walk out the door. I don't turn around now, you're not welcome anymore. Or weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with your lies? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd